regular meeting of the Carbon County Board of Commissioners. Order, please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, and pledge of allegiance.
Father, thank you for each body, mind, and heart of those participating in this meeting, as well as the lives that we will encounter afterwards. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. I believe that you will guide us in this meeting so that positive results can be seen days, months, and even years afterwards. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held June 8th, 2023.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Please state your name and.
My name is David Miller from Weatherly, but I have a business on First Street in Lehigh.
Yeah.
I'm following up with, last year I came here in July, so it's coming up on a year since I addressed the commissioners. And it is the same situation. I'm addressing the barriers and the traffic flow out of Jim Thorpe into Lehighton and the effect that it has on the businesses of the surrounding communities. Chris was kind enough to meet with us back in July with other business owners, and since then we really haven't heard anything and we haven't seen any progress. So we were wondering if you guys convened and are coming up with a solution to help the surrounding areas.
Well, I think I'm going to dive into this and give the comment myself. Yesterday at the state of the county, I discussed some of these things, and one of my things was don't bypass Carbon County. That was my thing that I did yesterday. And one of the things was the Lehighton bypass. And if everybody sees on here, November 22nd, 1984, that's when the bypass went in Lehighton. And that's the year I went into business. And since I became a commissioner, I'm not doing it anymore, but I was in business for a long time. So I've seen what's gone in Carbon County, and the bypass destroyed Lehighton. That's the first fact. And none of us here want to deter any kind of traffic to anywhere. And I said there were so many things, and I have to commend like the downtown initiative, and there were businesses even all the way up to Lansford that were connected to Lehighton, and they're gone. And that's what was destroyed. That's what I said, like when we do our planning from now on with our two hospitals that are coming in here, we have to plan to build and make sure that we don't destroy it like it was with a bypass. But I just want to give it, and some of the borough members and stuff asked me about it yesterday, and I said, come up here, I'll try to explain anything, you know, what we can do. And as the county, how can I say it? Boroughs don't want to tell us what to do. I think that's something that they have to work out between each other, like we do it with other counties, try to do services, you know, with Pike or Monroe, you know, or other counties throughout the state. But I just want to give a little bit, when a car leaves our parking lot, and I think everybody knows this, your property does not go to the center of the road. Yes, it does on your deed, but you don't have the rights for probably 15 to 20 feet from the center off of that. So when they go out into that, now it becomes the borough's property. And when it gets out there into the borough, once they start coming there, and like I said, I work with Chief Schatz all the time. I mean, he's probably one of the best chiefs that we have in the county, and he's respected throughout the county. And I think when he says to me it's a safety issue, it's a safety issue. But I just look at this, if they want to direct the traffic the other way, it becomes a borough problem, because now are they understaffed that they need another officer to direct traffic? You know, our people can't go out because that's a liability for us. I mean, we can't go beyond that parking lot. So there's an added expense to them. And, you know, and it's just like this thing. I go through town and I'm just going like even what Jenny said last night. They got rid of the parking meters in Lehighton. You know, I go through there every day. I live in Lehighton. And I see the cars, almost the same cars parked there. So is anything open for actually customers to, to park there? I don't know. And to have something put out, can you put meters, on the road here to clock where somebody's going, if they're going north or whatever it is? But the way that today is, when the people that visit us, there's another thing that I thought that was bad for Carbon County, it might be a little bit accessible for other people, but it's the exit up there at Penn Forest. When our people leave this parking lot, how do we know that they're going towards Lehighton? We sit in our car and say, okay, I'm gonna put it in the GPS, it's taking me up around Jim Thorpe, whatever you're going, is it Front Street and you come out on First Street? That's for us. But if somebody's going to New York, they're not gonna go through Lehighton, they're not going, they won't even get out of Jim Thorpe. So they can actually go up there. So I don't know where we could resolve this for you, but I think it's something that I think the boroughs have to work out. And like I said, I just gave you a scenario with the borough. You'd have to talk to them, and like Tina, you can shake your head all you want, but I'm just telling you, you have to work these things out together like we do among other counties. Sure. And I don't know what it is, and like I said, could it be down to the dollars? And I said, I've had an issue with the bypass since 1984. I've seen it, I was in construction, I've seen how it kept decreasing and how people, like how First Street got destroyed, right. And that's tough. Like I said, these downtown initiatives and Lansford Live, like I commend them for what they do, but they're taking like little bites out of it at a time. And I said, like even like with this blight money, and I hope we can do things with the blight money to bring things back. But as for the county, and I don't know if they have any other comments about it, but it's tough for us to say yes, because once that gets out into that road, we have no jurisdiction over it,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
I mean, I respect all your input that you're giving, and you're not
Yeah.
wrong in many cases. With the parking in Lehighton, that's an issue by itself.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to address the parking in Lehighton and the traffic flow, we want that problem, right?
Right.
We want to be able to confront,
Yeah.
oh my God, we don't have enough
Yeah.
parking anywhere.
Yeah.
But right now, I guess the way it's happening with the borough putting those things up and not allowing the left go to Lehighton,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know where the drivers are going. But I want the opportunity for them to make the choice,
Right.
because then that'll allow economic development in the other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I mean, worst case scenario for Jim Thorpe. Imagine if the trains stopped coming. What would that do to Jim Thorpe,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what this turn does to Lehighton. It drives traffic way away from everyone, not just us, but Weissport and the surrounding areas. So when we do that, none of us got in business to allow others to dictate that kind of failure on our business, right?
Yeah.
And we've gone through the borough. That's why we came to you guys. You're the next line.
Yeah.
We've gone to PennDOT and we're still talking with them. But when we talk to people, they say it's about safety. And if it is about safety, then we need to close the county parking lot. And I'm not being sarcastic. More accidents have happened in the parking lot than have happened outside the parking lot. So the accidents that have happened are fender benders in the parking lot, and they're fender benders at the traffic light, where people are pulling up too far and the trucks are coming around. So you could go back and look through 2022's reports, and you'll find the findings that there's minimal accidents that have happened outside that parking lot. So
Yeah, I know.
safety, I agree, tourists are unpredictable,
Yeah.
and people in general, but right now on paper, the safety thing doesn't stand up. And when we talk with PennDOT, they didn't know that Jim Thorpe is blocking the traffic every single weekend. They were under the understanding that it was gonna be used during heavy, like Jim Thorpe's birthday when we first talked.
Right.
So when the barriers went up May 6th this year, prior, like way earlier, and they've been up every single Saturday and Sunday, all the way up till now. Last year they started Jim Thorpe's birthday, but now it's every single weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. My Wednesday at my store shouldn't be better than a Saturday. That's crazy in retail. If your Saturday and Sundays are less than your Wednesdays or Thursdays, there's a problem. So we need to figure out something on a different scale, because when you talk at the borough level, They have no interest in helping other boroughs. That's the reality of it. So that's why we come to you.
And like I said, I had some issues with PennDOT. And I think the one night I was on with, like, what was going on with the Lehigh Bridge there, you know?
Right.
And the next night, the guy from PennDOT was on, he wants to work with us. I never got a phone call. You know, probably everybody in Carbon County knows my phone number, but I guess PennDOT doesn't have it.
Well, I
You know,
can connect the
and-
dots for you if you need it.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking with the district traffic engineer, and unfortunately, like most positions in, you know, in our world, it is a revolving door. So the gentleman that you may have talked to say, yeah, I'll connect with you. He may not connect with you because he might not have that position anymore. So I can connect the dots for you.
I'll
with the
call the
appropriate
director
person.
of PennDOT.
Great.
Because I know the director. And
Okay.
I'll, in fact, even my wife said last night, I said, this is gonna resolve me. She says, why don't you call Mike? So I'm
Yeah.
gonna call Mike today sometime, see if I can get connected with him. And there's a lot of issues that I have with PennDOT. I mean, there's drains that aren't open. You know,
Right.
we're trying to build this county up and we're not getting the maintenance done that has. And I see your concerns.
Right.
You know, and that's one of our, I think, one of our hurdles. Even when we try to do something here with our parking lot, yeah, PennDOT says, yeah, but they never show up for the meetings.
Okay.
So I
Or
hope they.
show up with 6 people that can't make a decision.
Yeah, it's like 10 engineers and none of them know how to solve the problem.
I understand.
So I will call, and I said, I know Mike Carroll,
Yeah.
and I'll try to see if I can get a hold of him. And I said, that was, my wife even suggested it to me last night. She says, why don't you call Mike?
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can get a hold of him, but.
I just wanted to
yeah.
follow up with you guys,
Yeah.
because like I said, it's been a
Well,
year.
and I just wanted to explain it to everybody what our frustrations are. You know what I mean? I think we're just frustrated as much as everybody else is. You know, and like I said, that taking people up to Penn Forest and putting them on the turnpike, that's not helping anybody. You know, it's not even, you're not even coming back in here to Jim Thorpe for
Right.
different things. You know, there's things on the way to Lehighton, and there's even things down in Palmerton, you know. And Franklin Township, I think Franklin Township is probably, when that opened, like probably the gas station there is hurting, you
Yeah.
know. You know, anything that's on that route there. So I think that's another thing that was devastating to our county. So I'll try and see what I can do. I mean, and like I said, I see where you're at. Like and I said, I just come back to it. I'm frustrated with the bypass for 40 years. But I'll see what I can do. All right?
Well, David, you know, again, there has been a follow-up. I'll challenge of that statement. As a matter of fact, there's been quite a few meetings that the county commissioners or representatives from our office have participated in, to include monthly meetings in regards to what we kind of call the Jim Thorpe events meeting that we run monthly. There's also been informal discussions with representatives of Jim Thorpe Borough Council. And I would not disagree with your comment that there might appear, or there is some level of insincerity in wanting to really work together. I see that. You know, Jim Thorpe did make a commitment in a meeting that was hosted to assist with signage that might help to redirect individuals. That signage never came to realization, right? Follow-up to that issue was, well, the borough was concerned with the legality to place signs on private property. And I would argue all sidewalks are borough property. There's plenty of space for signs, so, you know, I question that call. But again, the efforts have been made within our authority, and our authority in this issue is really none. But what we do have is the advocacy, and I can assure you, we've been advocating for consideration of how do you help ensure that drivers have additional options. Bear in mind, and I said this multiple times, it's all over social media, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. When you put in your navigation system, Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, that you want to leave the county lot and go south, where is it directing you? I tell you what, it's directing you to Lehighton. I could be over on 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th Street in Jim Thorpe on North Street, and he keeps directing me back to Lehighton. So drivers have an option, right? And matter of fact, they're being influenced by technology to come back. for whatever reason,
Right.
they decide to go up over the Maury Road. I would also tell you from my travel experiences, which are extensive, at the end of a long day touring around, the last thing I wanna do is make another stop.
Right.
But again, we wanna give them the option to do
Sure.
that, and we'd love to give them the option to do that in Lehighton. I will tell you, there is one individual, very influential, who believes that a stoplight should be placed at the county lot. And I would invite you to reach out to Andy Muller of the railroad, who has been pushing that extensively and believes that would help resolve the safety issue, and I think at the same time, provide additional options for drivers, as you mentioned.
Yeah, if I could have that information after the meeting or what.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'd have to direct you to the railroad directly, and then ask for an audience with a representative of the.
So based on what you were saying as far as the signs,
Yeah.
that we spoke with Burr, that was in the, there was a meeting around December at some point.
That's
when
right,
the article
yeah.
came out, or
Yeah.
never seen it.
Yeah.
So I spoke with, I went back through and I reread the articles because I wanted to have things fresh
Yeah.
in my brain. And, I followed up with the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau.
Yeah.
Because, in the article, they mentioned that they would help, fund
Yeah,
the signs,
Yeah.
and Marlon reiterated that to me. She said, you know, we extended it,
Yeah.
and, it wasn't out there, so we didn't really pursue it.
Yeah.
So if you're still in talks with them, it's still fresh.
Yeah.
You know, it still could happen. And if the concerns about funding, in their head, how is it gonna be
Yeah.
funded, whose property is it gonna be on, like, what color are they gonna be?
Right.
None of that matters.
Right.
You know, if there's an opportunity to fund it,
Yeah.
you know, and it can
Yeah.
come from somewhere else, it doesn't have to come from
Yeah.
here, you know?
I get, it goes back to, is there a level of receptiveness to take actions that's going to help another community?
Yeah.
I didn't see the sincere receptiveness to it.
I know,
Actions speak louder than words.
yeah.
Mr. Lukasevich is correct, we did talk to him several times, not
Yeah.
only in the events meetings,
Yep.
but I'm sure all of us have at least talked to the, not only the mayor, but the police chief and some of the council members as well, so. Any other guests, if you don't mind, yes, sir.
Schaefer, SCHAEFFER. I'm here on behalf of my business, Jokers Are Wild Game Cafe, Lehighton, as well as the other downtown businesses. We have just begun recently meeting together to look at a coalition to kind of bring strength in numbers to some of the concerns we've had over the past year, and, you know, going forward with the borough. So to address Rocky's concerns, there are issues that we need to address on the borough level without a doubt. And we plan on, you know, hoping to move that forward. About 6 years ago, I set out to become part of a vision to bring economic vitality back to a struggling downtown. My grandfather had done it back in the 70s and 60s, and I felt it was an opportunity for me in that part of my life to bring some of that back to the downtown. I took a leap of faith and invested about $80,000 in opening an admittedly niche business, and decided with some other businesses that I recently opened that I'd be part of building a downtown to bring back some vibrance to a once thriving downtown of Lehighton. Since then, I work almost daily, 2 jobs, and most of the time at night as well, in my business as well as my full-time job, to keep payroll down because there's very little profit. I receive no pay from the business itself, so everything I've done for the last 6 years has been volunteer, which is on me. But I know that when my time has come to walk away, that the equity that I've been building in my business will be my reward for the hard work and dedication I put into the business. I'm in a very unique, Jokers Are Wild is in a very unique situation as far as the other businesses in the downtown, because I've been in operation for 6 years. So I have some hard numbers to compare the 6 years prior, 5 years prior to this, and the previous year with the redirection of the traffic. So, Rocky, I think this will address some of the concerns that you brought up as far as the things that are happening in the borough itself. These numbers are reflective of only 2022. It's too early in 23 to address what the measure would be. But last year, and I took an average sale, my average sales for the last 5 years, compared them against last year's numbers, December through May, well, May through December, when the cones were placed. I saw an average drop, now this is average, of $30,000 in revenue to my business. That includes the COVID-19 pandemic and the closure of my business due to COVID-19 restrictions. If I were to add the gracious $26,000 grant that I received from the county, those numbers would admittedly be higher. I did not include those in the sales figures. I'd be happy to meet with you all individually or as a group to show you those hard numbers if you were, if you were so inclined to want to see those. As a business, you need to look at what variables play in to the drop in your sales. $30,000 is a giant hit to a small business. In an area where we're already fighting blight, absentee lords, one-way traffic, and a bypass. The only variable that I can possibly see is the fact that a, quote, safety issue has caused traffic to be rerouted. However, after filing several right-to-know requests with PennDOT, I'll be happy to share you in a non-public forum. It does not show that there is a, quote, safety issue at the intersection that we're talking about. The safety issue has caused a rerouting of traffic away from the downtown business of Lehighton to Moore Road to 209 to the Turnpike. This is the only variable that I can tell that has changed from 2018 till today. Therefore, I can only assume that this blockade is the cause of the loss of revenue, sales, and overall value to my business that I was hoping to recoup upon selling my business. Obviously, opening the books to somebody is going to affect what the resale value of the business is. So I ask you two questions. Does Lehighton and its businesses not matter to the county commissioners? And are you not here to administer your work to the entirety of Carbon County? Because we are not the only municipality struggling because of four traffic cones. In my humble opinion, after your meetings, and believe me, we've gone our gambit. We've talked with the chamber. We've talked with the LDP. We've talked, I'm here representing the Lehighton Borough Council. We've talked with them. We've met with Senator Argyle. We met with Representative Heffley. We brought our concerns to you guys. We've gone to the Jim Thorpe Merchants Association. We've gone to the council meetings via Zoom. We do not know what to do.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, this is going to end in a lawsuit because it's the only way we're going to get anything to be done effectively.
But if you're,
And we don't want to go that route, obviously.
no, but if you're going to the people that govern, well, they don't govern PennDOT. PennDOT runs their own, they're just let loose. Like, how will you get anywhere with the representatives and senators, And there's nobody in this room, I tell you what, when Jerry brought his business to town, I was the only person at the zoning meeting sticking up for him. So there's really nobody around here that sees the value of businesses coming in. And I thought Jerry's business did take off, but I thought it was gonna grow around him. And like I said, I was there from the beginning. Like I said, when Jerry came in and he introduced that, I was the only one there at the zoning meeting. And I see it, and like what you're bringing to me now, you talk to Heffley, you talk to Argyle, like, I don't know where we're gonna get to. Like I said, I'll call Mike and see what we can work out with. If this is true, then we have to do something about it. But I don't think anything was ever presented to us that it's not a safety issue, So this is a little bit of a different change now. And like I said, but we've had signs and they've had signs all over the place.
The right to know request that we filed shows 2 incidences only. Both were in the county law.
You had a second question, sir?
I asked that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reality, and this is not a commissioner's thing, this is a PennDOT thing.
Yeah.
In reality, what is to stop Bob Schaefer from putting traffic cones on a bypass and rerouting them to the height? It's the same issue.
Well, you probably have to get your police department to do
Right,
it now.
You have to
yeah.
get a permit, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well,
Well,
I'm
the
assuming.
police can do it based upon
Yeah.
safety, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They can.
You can't just do it based upon safety. You
Jim
need-
Thorpe is doing it.
Right, but we actually did it, as,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no,
but
go ahead.
Lehighton Borough Police actually did it, for our fireworks presentation one
Yeah.
year. And within 10 minutes, we had the state police coming and telling us we needed to remove our blockades
that's
because
right.
we did not have a permit.
Yeah.
And Jim Thorpe does not have a permit for their blockade.
Autumn, would you give your name, please, for the record?
Oh, sure, Autumn Abelovsky, Lehighton
Yeah.
Borough Council.
Mr. Schaefer, I gotta tell you, and I say this, right, beating the dead horse, I'd say county commissioners don't run the county. We administer and manage county government. 400 individuals, you know, in a half a dozen buildings. That's the reality of it. And again, our strongest suit is advocacy in issues of this. Hammering the same people you've been hitting upon for this issue, which we have been doing. And I'm gonna tell you, you hit on the key to success here. It's a legal issue. It's a legal issue.
And I think we could never get nowhere with PennDOT, and I
Oh,
think that,
gosh, no.
I mean, and I think that's what the train guy's trying to do, he wants to
Yeah.
put, you know, crossings up by our parking lot to come out of, and that might be the best solution.
I thank you for your time today, all of you.
Yes, ma'am. State your name, please.
And I pray for you guys as well as our great county.
Tina Henninger, Henninger. I also own a business, Wine and More, on First Street in Lehighton. At this point, I guess I'm saying it more for the media and the record than anything else. But again, with the PennDOT, we have gone to PennDOT. We know they did not file any sort of permits. We know the blockade they have up is technically illegal. There is no safety issue there. There is no permitting done. There's been no traffic study done. All we're asking is that the law be followed. Now, when we go directly to PennDOT, they tell us that, well, this needs to be dealt with between the borough and the county, is what they have told us in the emails they have returned to us.
That's
So
nicer
here we
than to
are
throw
yet
everything
again.
over to everybody else.
Well, and again, as I said, at this point, I'm basically stating it for the record,
Right.
so it's on the record and that the media has it, so they are aware of it too, so more people in the county can be aware of it. But it does seem that Jim Thorpe Borough is running roughshod over everyone. We assume that the county has some authority over the boroughs beneath it, because, you know,
No.
period of government.
No, we can't.
But at this point, I mean, there's so many people, so many locals who won't even come to Jim Thorpe anymore, because it's so difficult to get here, difficult to get, if you went to stop at Donuts, you need to go all the way down and park in the into the lot, schlep up, schlep back, we can't even park on the street anymore for a 10-minute trip. At this point, Jim Thorpe has become solely for the tourists. I used to live on the east side of Jim Thorpe. Now they're rerouting basically all the traffic over the 903 bridge. 10 years ago, it was difficult to get from Leffler's to Annie's Ice Cream. You were taking your life in your hands. Now it's impossible. It's suicidal to try and cross the street there. That's the residential side of town. They should not be facing this impact either. It seems this blockade, I don't know if they're trying to use it to extort money from you for the parking lot. I don't know. I can't figure out what the end game plan is, because it's not a safety issue. It's not really helping the flow of traffic. I'm sorry, we've had to drive through here on the weekend to deliver wine. It's not helping the flow of traffic at all. It seems to be, I can't find a polite way to put it, but a genital swinging contest perhaps. And it's
Say again, a
impacting
what?
genital swinging. I'm not sure of the polite way to phrase it. That's the politest I can do. But it does.
You gotta explain the use of that term, because I don't know what you're saying. Explain it differently, because if I don't
Okay.
understand, I'm sure there's public who don't understand what you're trying to say by that.
Okay, we'll say ego. Maybe it's
Okay.
an ego issue where they're trying to prove their dominance, but what they're doing is impacting, and it's not just impacting Lehighton. I was talking to council members from Summit Hill. It's impacting them. It's impacting all the surrounding communities. And I would like to find out why it is one borough can make a unilateral decision that is impacting everyone around them, and we all seem helpless to do anything about it. Is there any direction you can give us, aside from following a class action lawsuit, because at that point, everyone gets named, including the county, the borough, PennDOT, everyone. And that's going to be a long, difficult affair, and I'm sure none of us want to deal with that.
I think, you know, we all wish we had an answer to the solution, how we can go about reaching that, you know, the goal of creating a left turn, let's say, to make it simple. In dealing with state agencies, it's amazing how difficult it is to get anything accomplished and talking to the right people, but I think what we would have to do, or you should do perhaps, is go to the higher ups in the different agencies and levels of government. I think that may be the best answer for now, is try to get to the higher ups, the Secretary of Transportations, the Governor's Office, et cetera. That-
Okay, 'cause we
at
did talk
this
to
point in time,
federal,
that would be
and they
my-
told us it was a state issue.
Yeah.
Pardon?
So, we did go to federal authorities and they told us it was a state issue and we need to deal with.
Well, I mean, the state governor's office, not the federal, I understand that part, but Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Pennsylvania Governor's Office, et cetera. I don't know what else to tell you really, because it's, nobody, they're pushing what you just said. They push it off in county government. We don't own roads. We don't control the traffic lights and things of that nature. We have enough trouble with PennDOT trying to get pedestrian crosswalks that are safe, because it's the travel distance so far away from the corner here by the Hooven Building in particular. And the 76 building down the street is an issue. To me, it's a no-brainer. They're gonna do it anyway, so make it safe. I don't care what your regulations are, make it safe. So,
What we can do, again, we'll get you, Reading Northern Railroad's Government Affairs official, Matt Johnson's contact information. We'll get you the phone number for Drew Popish, who's the Governor Shapiro's Northeast Region rep. And I'll send that out after the meeting,
Yeah,
David.
appreciate it. You have our
Yeah,
contacts.
yeah, sure.
And Chris, we do appreciate
Yeah.
taking your time outside of
Yeah.
government to come and speak with us and,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I
it's our
feel,
concern
I
last
feel your
year.
frustration, I don't feel your financial pain,
Yeah.
but I feel your frustration in dealing with, other elected bodies.
Well, it's interesting because like, we were saying as far as like reaching to higher government things and PennDOT and all that, and the answer we always get is, well, have you talked to your county and borough? And I'm like, well, like,
It's a terrible sight.
Yeah, and we actually have a bridge that's on a state highway road, and it's our responsibility too. And if that goes, that's a couple $1 million, and we don't get anywhere with that either. It's like, and I said, they're trying to put these bills in that PennDOT is more responsible, but they keep getting pushback all the time. It's like, it's the 49 to 51 vote. That's not the way that thing should be. It's hard to get that vote above that 51, or if they need, if they need that 55 or 60 vote, it's like nobody gets along with each other. And like I said, there's probably nobody here that's frustrated more than me as PennDOT, because I think the media has reported several times where I'm standing on a bridge and they don't give us any, satisfaction. And this here, like I said, when you're telling this, and you did a right to know, and you're telling me it's illegal, now that's a little bit of a different story, So we'll try and find out what we can. And that's why I asked you to come here today. I think get it out here in the open, and then maybe we can attack the situation.
okay,
Okay, thank you.
I'm
anything
gonna
else?
stand up, because I don't wanna have to keep looking through Mark's head. Again, I'm Autumn Mabelowski with the Heighton Borough Council, so I'm here, on behalf of supporting the downtown businesses, but I'd also just like to preface that with some information. I'm not sure if everybody is aware, Heighton Borough has recently, let go of our borough manager, so that point of contact is not there, so I'm available should anybody need to get in touch with somebody with Heighton Borough. I've also been recently appointed to the Economic Development Buildings and Codes Committee. Historically, with Heighton Borough, committees don't really mean a lot. I'm trying to change that. So I'll be meeting with our zoning code enforcement officer, I'll be meeting with downtown businesses, and any businesses, coming into the borough or that are established there that need some help with, from the borough. So I listened to everything. I met for 3 hours with these people here yesterday. So I'm kind of new into coming into this. I was aware of the right to know requests that were requested by our former borough manager. I have reviewed those. So if you guys would like those, we will absolutely provide you with those copies. We can go over them. But what they are saying is true. We have found that the safety concern really just does not hold up when if that's the answer that the police chief is giving you. heard Commissioner Lukasevich mention, and I believe Commissioner Nostine also mentioned that you have had events meetings with the gym, I'm not sure what you called them, I don't remember the title of the meetings, but that these concerns were addressed.
Well, they were brought up, they were addressed, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
and I understand you don't have jurisdiction over the
Right.
municipalities, but like Commissioner Lukasevich said, advocacy, you can advocate. So my question is, was anyone from Lehighton Borough invited to those meetings?
There was a meeting where, is it Bambi?
No.
I
Correct.
believe if I recall correctly.
All right, Bambi is not employed by the borough.
No, but she,
Like, is
It is
she
on the-
Lehighton downtown?
She's on the Main
Right.
Street manager
the
through the
initiative
chamber.
with
Right.
the chamber,
Yeah.
Correct.
and she has been on a couple of the calls, I don't know
But I
how
don't
many,
believe
I don't
anybody
wanna-
from Lehighton Borough has been involved in those.
Right.
And, just like, I mean, it happens everywhere. You present a situation and your Jim Thorpe mayor, your borough council, your police chief are all gonna have the best answers that pertain to Jim Thorpe when you come to those. We were given no opportunity to rebut any of those with what the impact is upon us, or what we have already researched to say, you know what, maybe what they're saying isn't exactly truthful. So I'm just asking that if you have any of those meetings going forward, to again advocate for the downtown businesses of Lehighton, that Lehighton Borough is also included in those.
I really think for some reason, and I'll have to go back through some notes and stuff. I do believe that someone might have decided that Lehighton downtown Bambi would represent, be it informally, unofficially, Lehighton interests in this matter. And again, I'll
Okay.
check my notes and get back with you, but something just is queuing in my
And
head
I
here
can't
that.
change the past, just
Right,
like
no,
I can't
exactly,
change the
that's right,
bypass, I was
Yeah.
9 years old when that happened. I would love to see it gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, going forward, if, you guys have my email, I'm sure, just
All right.
keeping us
And I
abreast of
think
what's
like
happening.
when this came up like a week or two ago, I'm thinking like, should I invite yous or is it gonna get? And I think it was a good productive meeting with you guys coming here today. I think it's something that we're made aware of different things that we were never aware of before.
Yeah.
And just to point this out, and we've kind of joked that everybody kind of passes the buck. When you call PennDOT, they say it's this, when you say, but ultimately, the catalyst of this issue is the county lot. So it starts with you. And I know you don't have any jurisdiction when you pass that line of the street, but ultimately, it begins with you.
And I think when we went over the traffic thing, I think when we went to PennDOT, there was too many traffic lights in a row then. Because you couldn't have that, it was something that you'd have a traffic light here and then it was around the curve. Like we always got run around from everything,
I can't imagine
you know?
that's because PennDOT's requiring Lehighton Borough to put a traffic light at 9th and Bridge Street, and there's another one right at 9th and 443.
Yeah, I know.
That's what, couple hundred feet?
But
For yards.
that's been going on, I think, since 2011, and it's still not there yet, isn't it? That was when the new school was put up.
So it is
That's
it is
where,
happening.
that was
It's happening.
included in the school, that
It's
it was supposed to be
happening
done.
now.
So,
We are absolutely pushing for it.
Yeah.
We had to move a transformer box, so that's happening.
I do know that one of the meetings we were at with Mr. Lukasevich is, we had the Pocono Visitors Bureau there.
Yeah.
They had offered to fund a person to stand at the traffic light, the downtown here and be able to push the button, to change it to green, allow the people to leave the lot and flow directly through, but that was never followed up
Right,
on
yeah,
or,
right, yeah.
or
Yeah.
that didn't go anywhere. So they did offer to fund that as part of the, we are all members of the Pocono Visitors
I
Bureau.
don't think the funding is the issue right now, it's getting it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solution, I thought it was good, that would eliminate the backup of the traffic, but then that's kinda just fell from there.
I don't wanna speak for the other two, but, should we have to put, or be able to put a light there, I'm sure we could assist financially as well, at least on my behalf, I'm willing to say that. I'll let the others speak for themselves, but that's not the issue, and I think the difference between the traffic light and 9th and Bridge is, it's a cross street, you really don't have a cross street here at the parking lot, so.
Right.
but, I think we beat that horse, unless somebody else.
No, we're good.
Anything else to say? I don't wanna rush you, but we do
No,
have some
that's
other
enough.
business. I think we have another visitor as well, so. And normally we, limit it to 3 minutes, but, was productive. Ms. Lukasevich.
Yes. I was born in Lehighton, as were my brothers and sisters. My parents are buried there, my grandparents are all buried there. I have a soft spot in my heart for Lehighton. But where was Lehighton when redevelopment came into the county? When Governor Lawrence was governor, and Agnes McCartney was running the county, as she was managing everything here, why did Lehighton not participate at that time?
What year are you talking? I don't.
I'm going back to whenever Brady Cup was the
Oh,
county commissioner.
That's long
So I
before.
don't think a single member of Borough Council, except for maybe Grant Hunsaker was even alive at that time. So
Well,
we
yeah,
can-
Grant Hunsaker was alive at that time.
We can only go forward, I can't change what happened in the
Yeah,
past.
yeah, but I mean, that's, what you're trying to do is to change, and we've gotta make changes. We have a traffic problem, we're always gonna have it. We will always have a traffic problem here. And would we like to move the county seat out of the county? And when you talk about the courthouse parking lot, that's a great spot for cars to park, whether they're local, whether they're here with the county. Do we wanna close that parking lot so that we could take traffic down to Lehighton?
All we're asking is for traffic patterns to go to what they had.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel the same way. We've gotta do something with the directions. We've gotta be able to figure out a way to direct the people to Lehighton, because it is a beautiful area. And it's getting even better. It's getting better, you know. But we've gotta keep up the battle. We've gotta push with PennDOT to direct the traffic, We've gotta push PennDOT. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other guests?
We have a salary board issue. So do you want us to do it now or wait?
On salary board issue, we'll have to wait, okay? Okay. Any other guests concerning county business? Hearing none, we'll move on.
The report of executive sessions held,
There were none.
the department reports, the budget transfers.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of check numbers 236800 through 237004 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $1,266,357.68.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The treasurer's report?
Move to accept.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we'll recess for the commissioners' meeting and reconvene the salary board meeting. Are there any guests concerning salary board, or I'm sorry, minutes? No, we haven't,
No minutes.
recess. Any guests concerning salary board business?
Yes, my name is Dan Smellis. I live in Jimthorpe and Forest Township. June 1st, the salary board approved a change of rate for an office supervisor, one, from $19.97 per hour to $18.09 per hour. My understanding, and if you guys aren't familiar, the supervisor retired in the office, District
Right.
Justice Schrontz's office. That was my wife. She's going to talk shortly. $19.97 an hour. She was not making $19.97 an hour. She has a pay stub. She'll explain more. But my concern to the salary board is, if this amount is wrong, it needs to be adjusted. Not just because she's my wife, but because it's gotta be fair throughout the county. If you have the wrong salary and they're not making it, and now she is retired, she's owed something. And I will let her explain, but I'm telling you that amount was wrong. You guys have approved it at the salary board, it's been approved by the county commissioners, and she has a pay stub. Now, if I'm wrong in my information, then I'm wrong, but I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention, and she can talk also.
Well, it's just that it has in there 1997. That's what, I'm one of the 22 employees that didn't get a raise. It's one of the reasons why I left when I did. So to read in the paper that I was making 1997, I'd like to know where that number came from, because that's not what I was making. It's what I wanted to make, but it's not what I was making. You approved it, did it at the meetings, and you did
I know
it, so
what
I'd like to know where that number
Is that
came
what?
from.
This
that
is-
the-
Those are,
This is the issue where the rate was approved by the salary board,
Not approved.
but was not funded by the Board of
And I understand
Commissioners.
that, but in your agenda, you approved that that's what I was making when I left.
We had to list the rate that was approved at the salary board.
Okay, but then it wasn't approved.
No, the money it wasn't funded by the Board of Commissioners.
But it makes it look like that's what I was making.
It may appeared that way, but that is not what occurred. What occurred was the salary board voted, they approved something. However, there was not funds in
No, I understand that. I
budgeted.
understand all that.
Well, that's,
But-
I'm trying to explain
But
what
that's
occurred.
not what, that's,
But I guess my concern also is,
Yeah.
to anybody else in the county, you read the Times News or you read the agenda, oh, this person retired at 1997, now you're moving it down to 1809, okay, for another person to take over, hey, we're saving money. But realistically, it was 1909 she was making, she wasn't making 1997. I understand respectfully where you're coming from, but there should be something in there, so John Q. Public knows in the county, well, it technically wasn't 1997, she was making 1909. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, and I think maybe we spoke to that, I know Rocky and I spoke to it many times, and I will tell you, I thought Amy Miller and actually Standard Speaker did a very good job of explaining what has occurred. Now, you might have to have read over multiple articles, but I thought it was pretty well explained. It is a difficult to understand action that took place, but it was explained publicly, both in this forum and by the press.
And
Yeah,
it very well may, and
Yeah.
I did speak to Amy Miller, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, you just pick up the paper, or you go on and
Right.
listen to the meeting
Right.
live, or see the agenda,
Yeah.
okay, this person retired at 1997, we moved it down to 1809, when realistically, she was 1909.
And I think where this all comes from too is I think what I always keep stressing all the time, like everybody came in here and well, not everybody but the courts came in here and accepted the commissioner's proposal. And then even though people didn't get the raise that they want, but we're going over things the last couple of weeks, some of these people, I talked about it yesterday, are getting $3 an hour raise. Today, I marked it up here, $11.11. The next one here could be getting $11, or not 11, $1.11. One could be getting $1.62. And they didn't get a raise because they didn't come in and accept anything, When the judge came in, he says, well, I'm doing it the way I want it. I don't want to accept, the proposal of this. So that's where nobody got a raise. They were still back at the 2022 rates. And that's unfortunate. If it would have went through the regular process like it is, and I said, if anybody noticed it, people have been getting raises throughout. There were people that quit that didn't think they were going to get a raise. And in fact, I think the one got like a $3 raise, but the person quit because I don't know if they were promised a raise, but there was a procedure to go through. And that's why the HR, this is what HR was going through, like here. Like this is what they go through to do a job description. And when you have a better job description, you're gonna get a better pay. This is all the paperwork that they go through to get this. And I can't help that courts did not wanna go by this. That I'm gonna stand on that forever. And there's people that are getting raises here, and it's unfortunate that you left, because there are people that we lost that they would have got decent raises and they left, and now it looks like we're giving somebody new coming in a raise. And they did not follow the procedure. I wasn't the one, I did my own salary study, they came in and this was something for 2-3 years. They wanted a salary study done, okay? Now the salary study was done and everybody, I think there was a few here and there, but just about everybody, you could say almost 340 employees or 350 employees. I mean, and there's unions that are involved in that too, but everybody accepted it except for them 25 people. I mean, and I don't know if you were ever told about it, and my big thing was, I don't like this thing, there's people that are, if they're at the top or at the bottom, there's people in here I think that were $17 to $20 an hour that got raises. And then we're labeled as the ones that gave everybody at the bottom $13 an hour. But I think everybody throughout the salary scale is very important to the production, you know, what's going on in the county. And I just can't see this. Somebody that's making way up in the 30s and $40 an hour, getting $3 an hour, and then on these sheets, I didn't bring them in, there's people that are at $17 or $15 an hour that are getting 38 cents. And I think and I think Amy and the media, I think they do report very well on it. But I think when people look at it, you gotta look at that whole article. You know, that one article that was in, it had in there, Rocky Horner voted no for the pay increase. So now all of a sudden, Rocky Horner has been against it. I've been for these people getting good salaries all the time. And job descriptions are the most important thing to do, because when I'm gone, who's gonna advocate for them people what they do? You know, you have in there, years ago, okay, you were a secretary and you typed. Today, it's altogether different. You have technology to do. I mean, a secretary is not what they were 30 years ago. And that's what I'm trying to get across. This here has to be evaluated, and it comes to this, what you actually do. And that's how you're gonna get a better pay. You know, and that's all I'm down to. And like I said, I think, like Chris said, Amy wrote a good article. I think even yesterday, last night, you know, they stressed that we got 85% of the people in Carbon County, the employees, a good, you know, not a decent wage. And we changed the salary scale around. You know, before you came in and, okay, we decided that you could get 3%. So if you had more money, you didn't have enough for 6%, so you didn't give somebody 2 steps. Now, today, it's at 2.5%. There's an option that we could go up to 2.5%, so we could go give 3%, 3.5%, 4%, what's available through the county, you know? And this is a system that can work. I don't know why people are bucking it so much, and it's only probably 25 people that are not, you know, if these, you know, some of these people are, that are getting 80 and 90 cents, I don't see why anybody would be complaining about that. They would have got 38 cents and they're getting 80 cents. This system works. The old system that was in here does not work. This 3.5%, and what this whole salary thing was about is getting everybody at the right scale. That was it. You know, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of people, and I go back to that again. Everybody accepted it, except that 25 in the courts.
So are you saying right now it's a matter of the job descriptions of those people that are supposed to be redoing their job descriptions?
Well, and that's what we're going over now. Like there is, most of them were accepted, that, you know, most people got a decent raise. But then, and I think the thing that made us look bad, some of them got 2%, which, like, you should have just froze the people, because now that's what I'm worth, 2 cents, and it's not. But we're reviewing some of these, and like I said, some of these people, in fact, it's today, are probably getting, that might have been on that list for 2 cents, and they're getting $1.11 today, you know? And that's what I said. This is, I know it's new, but it's a better way of doing salaries for people. I mean, you look at it, and I said, for this year, and what did we put in? I think almost $700 and some thousand without raising taxes to do this far. And we'll probably need maybe, I always figured maybe about $600,000, which I think we will have everybody where they're at. Then we have to decide for the budget where we're gonna go, if we wanna do that option of 2.5 or move more, whatever, you know, if they wanna go by the CPI or whatever happens. But until this is implemented, like, why are we bucking this when this is working for 85% of the people? And it's actually, we're cutting that 15% down by doing somebody every week, you know?
So you're saying right now, say if I still was working here and I would have to, I know the judge comes in here and says what he's gotta say, but I would have to redo my job description to,
There's an appeal process
there's an
in
appeal.
the,
during the repeal, that's what?
Yeah.
there is an appeal process that we're in now. The courts are a little bit different, let's say, tell it like it is, a dispute there, as you well know, between the courts and the, you know, the commissioners, okay? But there is appeal process, the courts have to appeal all those positions, and that's, I think, the way we're only gonna get it resolved by doing that.
And like I said, people have the opportunity. I don't know, and I had the list here of what the raises were given to people, and it's not the way this system works. it was back to the same old thing that you got a percentage. Nobody would have gained anywhere, you know? And I said, you look at this thing too, where people come in, you know, and I valued the people. In fact, the lady that left last week, she was a very valuable person. But, you know, she decided to retire. And it wound up that her position was getting a raise. And it's like, now it got reduced a little bit or whatever, you know, with the new person going to that position. But it's like, I can't explain it, you know, like, and I'm trying to get it across to everybody. Why are we bucking this system that works? We're not even giving this second step a chance to come in. You know, I don't even know where you were at on the salary. And I said, I look at the sheet, what was presented for the courts, and it's the same thing we always had. It was either 3 or 5%, and everybody went from 38 cents. And I said, every job description is different. That doesn't mean the person at the bottom could only get 50 cents, and the one in the middle is only gonna get that. Maybe the one in the middle might get the $2, and the one at the top. And how can I say? They could come in and warrant that if you're at $35 an hour, and they have a job description that it warrants a higher salary, then they get that $2. But nobody ever came in and presented to us. And I said, HR is doing one heck of a job. This is what they go through with everyone and evaluate it, but then everything is wrong with it. I don't get it. Why did we ask for a salary? You know, we spent money on this, we spent a year and a half on it, and now we're debating over 25 people. I don't get it. I don't. And there's no bigger advocates than me here. You can ask them when they went out to the salary study. Like my plan was probably nobody would have got less than 2.5%. The people that did the salary study asked for my job study. So I know where everybody's going. I want to see everybody get a good salary. I mean, I had workers working for me, you know, and I treated everybody the same way that worked for me. You know, the person that carried the shingles on the roof got treated just as good as the one that was the carpenter that did the trim in the house. You know, and that's what I look at. And you have to look at the value. But I said, when it was presented to us, that plan that was there for the courts was the same thing. And if you look at it, it's right that 3% or 5% that they were going on. And that's not what this whole system. This system was asked to straighten the salaries out. We could have just said, you know what, we'll give everybody 3.5%, and that's the end of it. But we wanted to correct things because the courts and everybody, every row officer, everybody came in and said, you know what, our people are making $10 an hour, they need more. So we all agreed, we moved up to 13. That's where we went, and that's where we started from. And we picked away at every salary all the way through the scale. And we have probably these couple to do, there's probably 40, and they're gonna have a heck of a task to try and finish this, you know, till our budget comes through. But that, I think, is our goal, to get everybody a good salary. So I don't, and I'm hoping, and I wish more people would come like that. And I said, it's like Amy wrote a good article, and it's like, you know, you just can't stop reading the front page. You know, I wish people would continue in that article all the way through, because, like I said, it looks like me. I voted no for a salary increase, but nobody ever explained it. I mean, they did, but nobody ever read further than the first page. And that's what I think people got to start doing. Read further than the first page. And I see where you're at. I mean, like, it's a shame that if that's why you quit, that's, but I said, I see people that quit that 3 months later we gave raises to that position. And it wasn't the person, it was the position got the raise, and there's other steps to that. Now we can address longevity. We can address salaries throughout the year, that we know what it is. There's so much changing around here. Everybody comes in, okay, are we justifying giving somebody $2 an hour? Maybe not. But somebody else could come in and it could be justified for $3 an hour. And right here's the proof. In a salary, in a job description. And I said, I've been harping on this since probably the last mayor. And I don't know what the issue is, that it's 25 people or 22 people are holding this up. So and I said, if you left because of that, I apologize to you. I mean, my goal was to give everybody a decent raise that they deserved. So, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Any other guests concerning salary board business? Hearing none, we'll move on.
The report of executive sessions held.
There was one executive session, I don't have the tape in for that. Grab that. Yeah, but I forgot what sheet, I'll let the lady get.
June 13th at 1:30 PM.
PM, yeah, there it is, I just see it, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, June 13th, 2023 at 1:30 PM. Sorry about that.
The next item is the Controller's Office. Mr. Severcek.
Thank you. And as a permanent member of the salary board, could I just make some comments along the line of the study and everything? I think the study was long overdue, and it was important to have it done. And like any study, I think there were good things that came of it, and there were some inequities. And I think the appeal process is also good to enable those of us that felt some of our positions were not equitably accounted for during the study that has that process. So I did that, and that's what these motions are about. And they're in the fiscal data processing department. One of the persons that left, I know Mrs. Smellis left, was a 24-year employee that left last week. And part of the reason she left is she was frozen because of her tenure and the new grade that she wound up under the results of the salary study. And of course, we love to retain those people, like Commissioner Arner said, but we can't control what people do. They're going to make their own decision. But between that lady and the supervisor, it's a total of 60 years of county experience. So that's important. And we had I think a total of 9 people that were frozen as a result of the study.
Mark, excuse me though, frozen, explain the term. That doesn't mean they can't get pay raises. They simply hit the extremity of the steps, and therefore anything beyond that would be a pay raise based upon an across-the-board pay raise.
Yeah, that is true.
Right.
That is
You know.
true. Well, a combination of tenure, their years of service, and I think what happened to some of those folks that were frozen was years of service, their current pay grade, and then their new grade level as a result of the study was also a factor.
Yeah, again though, the term frozen means you can't move any further, you can't get a salary increase. Again, I think the term misrepresents the status and their ability to get further salary.
Okay. I'm just using a term that was given to me. That's all.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, and I think it's a bad one, so we probably
Okay.
need to change
Okay.
the semantics
Yes.
because
All right, that's fine.
good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So again, these motions are to change job descriptions, realign the fiscal data processing department, which is 3 people, that is under the controller's office. The controller's office has 3 employees, fiscal data processing has 3 employees, including a supervisor. So I work closely with the fiscal data processing supervisor, who's here 36 years, and the HR department did a great job as well with helping us review and re-engineer the job descriptions along with the new position titles. So, I know it's a long preface, but I just want everybody to have that. Okay, so I'll start with, the first motion is to establish the position of 1 fiscal data processing assistant 1 at $15.80 per hour, grade 5, step A, effective June 19, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Severcek?
Yes,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
thank you. And then concurrent with that new title position and new job description, we would then be abolishing the position of 1 fiscal data processing specialist at $14.69 per hour, grade 3, step B, effective June 19, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Severcek?
Yes,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
thank you. All right, the second set of those 2 motions is to establish the position of 1 fiscal data processing assistant 2 at $18.29 an hour, grade 8, step A, effective June 19, 2023.
Do we have a second? No second, the motion dies for lack of a second.
Okay. Then I will have an alternative motion, which was the recommendation of our HR department to establish this position, 1 fiscal data processing assistant 2 at $17.42 an hour, that's grade 7, step A, effective June 19th of 2023.
And I'll second that with a little bit of discussion, and I just can't go off of what our game plan was. You know, people coming in here, they could recommend 3-4 steps up. You know, and like I said, HR reviews everything here, And if you look at the first motion that was there, that person got $1.11 raise, you know? And then when you look at this one, I think this one here at that 7A that was recommended by, you know, HR through the system, they'll be getting $1.62. So that, I don't wanna make it look like we're denying people pay, but they are getting an increase. And this system that's in place, we're so close to it that we can't go off course. We gotta keep that. And like I said, the next steps that we're gonna do is we're gonna try to maybe address longevity or even, you know, for our salaries for the upcoming year. So, I can't say, we're not wasting money, but if we would do this for every position, how would we even do a budget when everything's thrown all around? And that's what's happened through the system for years. They come in and, okay, my worker, is special to me and I need $1 raise, you know, and I go back to it. It's going off of the old system and this system will work. So I hope, you know, and I'm sure there's some people that aren't gonna like this, but once this gets in place, I said, we can track things and people are back where they should be and we can increase the salaries, what have to be done, you know. We've been always, you have 400 employees and you're all over the place with every one. It shouldn't be like that, you know. But I'm hoping it works out, like I said. I don't wanna, like Chris says, don't beat a dead horse, but, you know, the old system was around for ages. And it's time to have something new. And I said, the system that's designed, I believe it can work.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark, no.
Well, I think along Commissioner with some of those comments, I think the appeals process is a good process. I mean, you got about 10% of the total workforce that might be appealed, and maybe that's higher than we would like, but I think where some of the inequities happened was with those longer-term people. They won't use the word frozen, which I think they were held at their current level. So unfortunately, some of those folks chose to leave the county, and that was unfortunate because a lot of them had such a wealth of knowledge that's going to be hard to replace. And I know financial concerns are always a very important concern, but I think this is another important step in the process to make the salary administration process more equitable. That's what I would say. So, you know, I didn't make up the job description. I didn't gin it up, or, you know, I work. This is some of my this is some of my research here between myself and fiscal data processing supervisor and HR. So it was a good opportunity to re-engineer the job description and re-engineer the department. And the next one eventually will get to the supervisor who has 36 years of experience. We don't want to lose her either. It would be a heck of a thing for the county. So that's how this came up. It wasn't just made up or whatever. So.
I mean, I appreciate you for that. And there's nothing wrong with it, of the department heads or anything coming in here and asking for more money. And like I said, I'm sure your employees commend you for sticking up for them, and we want them to do that. But like I said, I'm still stuck on this track to stay there, and I don't think there's anything wrong when this is all, the dust is settled, that there could be more appeal to this job description. You know what I mean? When a person settles into this, every day technology changes. That person that we're working on right now, you could come in 6 months from now and that job altogether different changed. And now that would be reevaluated again. You know?
Yeah, that could be true, but I think the appeals process was set up with parameters with a start and end time, so it gave everybody an opportunity that wanted to appeal within that time period.
Yeah.
And of course, I chose to do that as well. So.
And we also, you know, HR does, as an individual decides they're going to leave, and prior to re-advertising or advertising that prospective vacancy, they do re-examine it. That provides a natural opportunity to upgrade. And that's what they're doing. There is that appeal process, but at the same time, as jobs open up here in the county, they are prioritizing vacant positions to make sure we're hiring people based upon the real world KSAs and stuff that they're going to be working in here. Mark, I thought you'd done a great job working with HR. The additional information you provided, which was derived from your research, again, made a strong case for your proposal. You know, it really did. Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Not at this time.
Mr. Severcek?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have. Oh, sorry. And then concurrent with that motion is to abolish the position of one fiscal data processing assistant at $23.96 per hour, grade 5, off the scale at that point, effective also June 19th of 2023.
Move to abolish, or second, I'm sorry.
Mr. Severcek?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Okay,
Thank
no
you.
further business for the salary board, meeting adjourned. We'll now reconvene our commissioners meeting.
We're gonna hook all the rest of the motions together, right?
Okay, the next item is the personnel report for county departments.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The acknowledgements for courts and row offices.
Motion acknowledged.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Archives for approval and execution. A work-based learning program agreement between the county and the Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit Number 21 for the 2023-2024 school year, allowing young adults with disabilities on-the-job training in the archives department.
Motion approved and executed.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Boards and Authorities Action Committee for approval, reappointment of William Richards to continue his service as a representative of Senator David Argyle, retroactive to December 1, 2022.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Human Services for approval and execution. A letter of agreement between the county and the Carbon County Action Committee for Human Services to provide any and all assistance requirements under the Homeless Assistance Program guidelines and funding provisions in the amount of $27,359 for the term of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Motion approved and executed.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
HSDF for approval and execution, the letter of agreement between the county and the Carbon County Action Committee for Human Services to provide any and all assistance requirements under the Human Services Development Fund Program guidelines and funding provisions in the amount of $50,000 for the term of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Pocono County's WIOA for approval, reappointments to the Pocono County's Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Development Board for an additional 3-year terms to expire June 30th, 2026. Kim Miller, Executive Director of the Carbon County Action Committee, and Mary Beth Ferguson, Assistant Director of the Bureau of Workforce Partnership and Operations.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The Solicitor's Report?
Thank you. For the administration building, for ratification, acceptance of the proposal from CMG of Easton, Pennsylvania for repairs to the administration building caused by water damage in the total amount of $205,067. And our insurer, P-Corps, has given approval of the proposal.
Move to ratify.
I will second this with a very brief discussion. We've gotten approval to start working on the building. We're gonna meet with CMG probably within the next week. We have to order carpet and hopefully the production will start. It takes probably about 6 weeks for the carpet to start or to come in. And that's all I have for my report on that.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. It was brief for a change.
I know, I'm trying. Well, I took a little bit more than my 3 minutes the last time.
You lost a couple of hours.
For the Area Agency on Aging, for approval and execution of a letter of agreement between the County of Carbon, the Carbon County Area Agency on Aging, and the Senior Community Service Employment Program, or SCSEP, through the Pathstone program to employ participants for the purpose of receiving on-the-job training at each senior center site from July 1st, 2023 through July 30th of 2024.
Motion approved and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
for the Emergency Operations and Training Center for approval and execution change order number 6 to the contract with Cobalt Construction Incorporated of Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania for Phase 1B portion of the Emergency Operations and Training Center project was received from the county engineer. This change order addresses the costs incurred related to the cleaning of Basin 2 lined retention basin. Excessive sediment accumulated and the cost to properly clean was $18,299.10. The county has agreed to pay 50% of the cost incurred, which amounts to $9,149.55. This change order increases the contract by $9,149.55 for a new contract total of $2,536,768.91.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
For Mock Chunk Lake Park, for approval and execution of change order number 1 to the contract with Lehigh Asphalt Paving and Construction Company Incorporated of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania for Boat Launch B paving and the vaulted restrooms project that was received from the county engineer. This change order extends the contract completion date to April 30th of 2024. The change order is necessary due to the extended time required to obtain the vaulted restrooms from the manufacturer. There is no additional cost, and the contract price remains the same at $383,547.25.
Motion approved and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
For the Recorder of Deeds for approval and execution, a request was received from the Recorder of Deeds for a 2-year ScanPro SPA membership with E-Image Data Corporation Incorporated of Hartford, Wisconsin to cover the ScanPro 2200, 3000, 2500, and 3500 microfilm scanner located in the Recorder of Deeds office for the period of June 15th, 2023 through June 14, 2025. Total cost is $473 for 2 years.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
For 525 Iron Street and the Children and Youth Offices for acceptance, proposals were received in response to the request for proposals. For the Children and Youth Services Office at 525 Iron Street, Pennsylvania, as follows. Mountain Maids Cleaning, LLC of Lehighton, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $7,000 per month, and Tammy Cole of Lehighton, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $4,200 per month. Requesting acceptance of the proposal from Tammy Cole at the quoted amount of $4,200 per month and authorize forwarding of a contract for signature. Contract would be for a term of 1 year, automatically renewable, and the county may terminate the agreement upon 5 days advance written notice.
Motion to move to accept Tammy Coles.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
And lastly, for tax assessment, seeking approval and payment of a refund of county real estate taxes to Wilhelmshaven LLC of Fanwood, New Jersey. The property is located in Kidder Township. That's parcel number 21-A11.08. The reason being the taxpayer is due a refund due to the building, the removal of a building, and that decreased the assessment from $24,300 to $6,600. Decrease of $17,700. The tax bills were paid in the discount period, and the total refund amount due would be $212.49.
Motion approved and make payment.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Any further business? Hearing none. Commissioners' reports. Mr. Honor?
I don't really have much anything to say, but yesterday, and I think they covered it pretty good. Yeah, I got 3 minutes. But the three of us, and they can speak about what they did, but I think basically what I said today about the salaries and, you know, the what we had to do with, you know, getting our county back on track, that's what I discussed on there. And they had other things, but otherwise than that, I think Times News and are going to have a great article in tonight about that, I'm sure. Tomorrow, and the Channel 13 already did something, and they did have on where I was talking about the salaries, so that's a good thing. So I will yield to my other two commissioners.
Okay, Mr. Lukasevich?
Nothing.
Mr. Notstein?
I have nothing.
Oh my God, I gave you my time. I gave you like 2 minutes.
Meeting adjourned. Amy.
Right, you actually gave it over to me. Good morning yet, gentlemen. With regards to the water leaks, I know Commissioner Turner, you said about the ordering the carpet. That 205,000 includes weekends and night work?
Yes, that's included in that. And it looks like, I mean, the majority of the time is probably gonna be at night. That's the maximum that it'll cost. Now, if they can do some work during the day, I mean, it could wind up not being $200,000, but it all depends how we sit. And I know Mark's like one of the things, his office is gonna have to be worked on. I don't think people wanna be working while, you know, they're taking ceiling tile out, or even the carpet. So,
Business goes on.
yeah,
No matter
it's,
what.
it's,
And you're gonna be meeting with CMG, do you have a timeline of how long, like when you expected to start first finishing?
well, it's gonna be that carpet issue. When the carpet comes in, that's the thing, and they're telling me like 6 weeks. But it looks like the project, and I don't know yet, but it's gonna maybe be one floor at a time. So it could be like up to a 3-week process, you know, 3 to 4 week process to do everything. You know, but it's hard to tell until we meet with them yet.
And then in the initial quote, when you sent out the numbers, there was an $18,000 and just under 9,900 for loss of wages and all. Is that also included in your? do you feel
Yeah,
that?
well,
That's with P-Corps.
yeah,
Or
and
anything
yeah,
to
that's
that?
with them. Yeah, and even in there was even like, if you look, there was like wages. I think, I don't know what it was under, but there was wages for IT to come in extra also. You know, that, you know, if they gotta take the computer out or whatever, you know, and then install it, you know, if they work on weekends, then they have to come back in and install them again. So everything's pretty well covered. I mean, the guy that, did the worked with CMG and the adjuster, I think they did a great job.
Okay, so we're talking about the first building. How about 44? Where does that stand?
Well, we're working on that yet. There's a couple little issues, and that's not really that much work there. And I think they determined that the carpet does not have to replace because it's only been in now. There's a provision in there, if we have any trouble within like the first or second year and say tiles would be coming up, then we would go back and give an amendment to them. And they would pay to have the carpet, but right now it looks like the carpet just had to be shampooed, but it's on a concrete floor, so it's nothing that would be, you know, that you'd be getting mold or, and they did a wonderful job cleaning it up. I mean, there was enough for the amount of water that was in there. I mean, it was waterless when they got done cleaning it up, so I think we're pretty confident that there's no mold, but like I said, if there's something that shows up tomorrow, you know, the day after they fix it, or within 2 years, they said we should just put an amendment in and they'd be willing to you know, replace it.
Okay. And with regards to the buildings, public defender moved over to 76 now?
Yes.
How about where does it stand with planning?
They're
They're
planning, they're there, up in 44, up on the top.
Okay, so that everybody's moved in now where they need
Yeah,
to be?
yeah.
Might be
hopefully.
some boxes and
Yeah.
minor stuff yet,
Fine,
but for the whole part, we're done.
okay, and then on the salary stuff, how many appeals have you guys received since that process was?
I think Samantha would be able to
How many you have
answer that.
offhand and more to come, I'm sure.
44 for county employees, and if you give me just a moment, I can tell you for the courts.
Okay.
Okay.
30 for the courts. I know I did receive another 1 or 2 this morning, so that number will go up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and that's all I have, then thank you very much.
Anything?
To talk about this agreement with the Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit about the job training for adults with disabilities, is this something new, or is this something that's been going on for?
Existing program.
Existing
And
program.
Nancy does it every year.
Providing students in different offices, that's the agreement we have to put in place in order to bring students in and train in different offices, on-the-job education, really, a lot of it.
And what do they do while they're here?
a variety of things from office work. I don't know if we have anyone, mostly office work, I think. I don't think we have any maintenance people or anything like that, but it's mostly clerical positions, assisting in different offices.
And how important is it to get them into like an area here to get the experience they need?
Well, it puts them out into the job workforce. It shows them, teaches them responsibility. They get to earn some money by being out there. I'm not sure of all the parameters, but I would encourage businesses perhaps, or to look into the programs if there are opportunities that they can get some assistance in their offices and that, reach out, at least investigate it.
We use BHA, they have a similar program, yeah.
Yeah. So it is beneficial both to the businesses, the county, and assist, especially during the summer, when they're out of school, they get to earn some money, they get some experience. They help fill in the gaps as well, because that's when most people take their vacations and that. So they get a little bit of on-the-job education and training and start to learn what it's really like in the workforce.
Ryan, just to confirm, you were speaking of the IU agreement, correct?
Yes.
Again, yeah, so please, again, Nancy over at Archives, regularly, who we know, has been using students, from the program there also. And I know Ms. Schaefer mentioned, behavioral health has a similar program and stuff like that. But that is, as Commissioner Nosey said, part of our overall arching program of bringing in our interns. And we do work with, Career Link also for the PANIC program, to bring them in also.
They bring in quite a few workers into the workforce.
It's a great program, it is.
Yeah, I believe if I recall, we have an intern down with Christine in Veterans.
Veterans Affairs has one right now.
Annual basis.
So some are really, really good workers, real good.
That's all I have. Thank you
That's
very
it,
much.
okay. Have a good one, people.